Over the last few years, I've had a lot of questions on why I named my ministry the Christian Prostitute. I just wanted to take an opportunity and explain it. It's a good time to have our first video blog and get to meet each other from behind the pages. I started this ministry about 4 years ago. Decided to call it the Christian Prostitute because as women we have a tendency to judge each other a lot and seem to think that one person's sin is a lot worse than the other person's sin. And so I tried to think, alright, as women, what do we think is one of the worst sins a woman could do or commit? And for me, what came to mind was being a prostitute. You know, many women say, well, you know I gossip, or I know I shop too much, or I know I eat too much, or I know that, I lie sometimes, but, at least I'm not a prostitute. At least I don't do that. I'm not a stripper. I'm not, I don't do anything that's too horrible. And in God's eyes, God sees it all the same. So it's given me a good opportunity to explain that to people and explain to them that we all sin. Sin is all the same. God sees it all the same, and that it's something that is hard, believe it or not, for some people to grasp, the fact that they sin and that they do things wrong that are not acceptable to God. Just being a good person is not your ticket into heaven. God sent Christ to die for us, to forgive us of our sins. Unless you're Jesus, you've done something that you need to be forgiven for. And without Christ, you're not going to make it into heaven without Him and His gift of dying on the cross for us, covering that sin. So that's why I call it the Christian Prostitute. But God has a way of working things out for His glory and His needs. When I named it that, I really didn't think about the people who would come across it online when they went to the ChristianProstitute.com. A lot of men, believe it or not, have come across it for reasons not to look for gospel in any way, shape, or form. To date, it's been about 4 years, we've had about 36,000 people come across the Christian Prostitute page, and some of them have been men who were convicted when they got to the page, got ministered to, and turned their lives around. We've had people from all over the world leave comments, some not happy with me. They feel like they got caught in something, that they were convicted of something that they really didn't want to be convicted of. Also, the Christian Prostitute is a great jumping off point for what I like to call shock evangelism. People ask you, what does that mean? I have a shirt my daughter made for me that says, I'm a Christian stripper. It's one of our logos on our page. They ask me when I wear it, what does that mean? And it's a good jumping off point to share the gospel without being in somebody's face. It's very hard nowadays to share the gospel with people and just go up to them and say, let me tell you about Jesus. It's so much easier when they come to you and say, what does that mean exactly? And you can tell them, what that means. We'll have a later video at a later date on the Christian Prostitute's Christian Stripper t-shirt and what that is and why I wear that and the questions people ask me about that. But for right now, I just wanted to answer some questions for you guys about why we're called the Christian Prostitute. I hope you enjoyed the blog. Share it with your friends and stay tuned for more videos.